Okay, I am back doing another SimCity Build It video, and before we get into this, I just want to say if my voice sounds like I'm in pain, it's because I am. I'm currently out of work and awaiting back surgery. I actually have a pretty serious surgery coming up. I believe they said it's called a spinal fusion based on multiple herniated discs, and for everybody that complains about my voice, now you have an additional reason. If it sounds like I'm in pain, if it sounds like I am in pain, it's because I am. So I apologize for that, but let's move right on with the video. I recently had a couple requests, both dealing with epic buildings, so I wanted to make a video and try to address those. Now, I have taken a screenshot of both of the questions that were posed to me, so let's just go through them really quick. Master War, I have been trying to find an answer to the question close to the one you just answered, but slightly different. I suppose I have my answer, but please correct me if I'm mistaken. What I was wondering is if the epic building that you get after the 24 hours is over is a different designed building via bronze, silver, or gold levels. I assume it isn't. Okay, to the best of my knowledge, I agree, it is not. The design of the building, as I understand it, each individual epic building can have 3 separate designs based differently on color. It's random which one you get. And in the specialization that you have chosen to do your epic building in, for example, mountain or beach or entertainment, or in my case, the one that I'm doing right now is education, there are, I think, and don't quote me on this, 12 buildings in each specialization, and you randomly get one. Now, when I say randomly get one, that's not randomly get one that you don't have. That is just randomly get one. So you could get 5 of the same building if your random luck sucks. After doing 5 different epic buildings in the same specialization. So getting every building and getting the color that you want is really close to impossible, in my opinion, which is annoying, but that's the way I understand it. Now, I am going to share a link to a Reddit article that deals with epic buildings, and the information that I have is mostly from that article. Now, it is 2 years old. There probably have been some updates, but to the best of my knowledge, what it says is pretty accurate and still current, even if maybe not as current as the information now is, if that makes any sense. All right. So I assume it isn't, since you say the population isn't different, and I'm going to show you why I say that, but we'll just continue reading here, which leads to more questions because I am not sure I have seen any population boost after an epic building is completed. To the best of my knowledge, the population boost, regardless whether it's bronze, silver, or gold, is 31%. Is there even any population boost at all? Yes, there is. Also, it seems really lame for there to be not to be different epic buildings based on bronze, silver, or gold. I would agree with that. I think that the bronze, silver, and gold should each give a different bonus and population boost, but who am I to say? I really don't care too much about the speed boosts. I would rather work for better artistic value or population in general. I'm at level 24 and I just don't have enough good buildings that provide enough epic points to even get beyond bronze. My best specialization is the beach at this time, and you are right, the 1 point epic buildings are hell. Many times I get stuck with the same goal for 1-point epic buildings as I do for 3-point epic buildings. To make matters worse, they often come at the same time, which leaves me with very few choices. Having to produce 4 paint for just 3 epic points, not even 4 epic points is worth that. Paint really isn't, it's annoying, but it's not that bad compared to some things. But I feel your pain, I do. So I can see why speed ups help, but unless you have a whole lot of them saved up, you're still stuck with the same nightmare. Yes, you are. Alright, so we're gonna come on over here to the next one. You mentioned not doing epic buildings until you have enough specialization buildings that provide 3 or 4 epic points, but that brings up more questions. What even triggers the epic buildings in the first place? Okay, I'm pretty sure it's based on level, but also you have to build, if I'm not mistaken, place on the board a special building. Now, it's been a long time since I actually did this and got the epic buildings, so I am sorry, I do not really remember. And I haven't read the Reddit article that I'm gonna post a link to in a long time either. It may actually explain, but I don't remember, and I'm sorry for that. I don't even know why all of a sudden the epic buildings became an option. I know I had 60 buildings when the first epic was triggered. I don't believe it's based on how many buildings you have, but I could be wrong. But it's not like I leveled up or anything. They just started offering when I was in the middle of level 24. Maybe it's level 24 that triggers it. Maybe it's 60 buildings. Do you know? What are the implications of not trying to attain bronze, silver, or gold? Okay, if you start an epic building and you do not get enough points because you do absolutely 0 of the tasks, or you only do 1 and you don't get enough points, I think you have to get 10 points in order to generate the bronze building, but I can't remember what it is. Again, I apologize for that. If you do not get enough points to at least generate the bronze building at the end of the 24 hours, the building just remains a standard residential building. It doesn't turn into an epic. Anything you have done is wasted, and 24 hours is just passed. That's all. You don't get any benefit. You lose anything that you tried to do that wasn't enough to actually make it become bronze or higher. So hopefully that answers that question. There's no negative downside to it other than, for example, if you tried to do it for a contest of mayors assignment, obviously you would have failed at the assignment. Let's see. Where are we now? Do you still get the epic building after the 24 hours run out, but without any chance for speed ups? Okay, good question. No, it doesn't become an epic, so you don't get any upgrade at all. Assuming you wanted to stall or delay any and all epic builds, such as you suggested, exactly how would you go about doing that? If you start the epic building, you would have to pay the fee of however many simoleons it is, and you would get absolutely nothing if you didn't acquire at least bronze. So you would be out the simoleons as well for having started it. Okay, so that being said, let's go back to our SimCity game, and I will show you the building that I believe you need to have on the board once you reach a certain level that allows you to start producing epic buildings. And again, in order to produce an epic building, you actually have to have a basic residential building, not the Paris or London or Tokyo building, and not, to the best of my knowledge, not a regional building. Although I did hear there was some sort of an update about the regions and epics, but I didn't understand what that was, and not the Omega buildings. So if you have a basic residential building and it's fully upgraded, then let's see, where is my ugly building here? This thing, the Department of Epic Projects. Okay, it's this ugly building. It's, I don't even know what it is, but it's really annoying in my opinion. And once you put it on the board, you cannot get rid of it. You can't demolish it, and you certainly can't store it back into storage. So it's just there forever in the way. And the only thing it really does is, if you click on it, it'll tell you how many total tokens you have of each kind. And if you scroll sideways here, it tells you what you need in order to make the epic building. Okay, so turtle tokens you can produce at level 16, if I'm reading that right. Is that right? Llama tokens you can produce at level 20, and cheetah tokens you can produce at level 24. But in order, oh, you can get them, not necessarily produce them, my bad. Okay, but then in order to get the epic building, you have to be level 24. So there we go, we did answer the question. So you did have to be level 24, and you have to have placed this building on the board. And I believe that's the only two criteria. If there's anything else, I'm not aware, other than having the residential building that's fully upgraded. So I hope that answered your questions. Let me show you one thing that I was talking about. Let me find a space to do what I want to do here. Let's take this thing and just move it over here. I can't move it over there. Never mind. Alright, that's not going to work. Let's just find something I can pick up. Okay, let's take this thing and just store it for now. Okay, so if I come over here and I bring any one of my gold buildings, and I bring them over here and I put it down, it's going to be 12,075 for the population. Now that's gold. I'm going to put it back. But if I come over here to one of my bronze buildings and I bring it to the same exact spot, it is the same exact population. So if you're in the same exact spot on the map, and the only thing different is the building, then obviously if the population would be identical, then there is no difference. So that is why I say there is no difference. It's just a 31% boost regardless what the level is that you have attained. So I hope that answers your questions. I'm sorry that this is kind of long and drawn out, and a lot of it was spent reading, but I wanted to cover everything, and I wanted to show you everything that I could. And you're talking about what's the best way to get the high point buildings. And for example, let's look up education just for an example here. As far as the education goes, like for example here, in my opinion, the Omega University is your best building, with the exception of, for example, and let's find these other buildings, with the exception of, for example, here we have the University Art Gallery, and then there's also this one, which is pretty cool. That's the University Observatory. And those two buildings were acquired from the Contest of Mayors. And that is one of the really nice things about the Contest of Mayors, is that if you do manage to not only join the Contest of Mayors during a season, but you make it all the way to the top tier, to the top neighborhood, whatever it's called here. Let's go look and figure out what I'm trying to say here. Then when you get to the top, there we go, the league, when you reach Megalopolis League, you will get the final building, and the final building is always a +4 for epic points. And then the one for the Metropolis League is always +3. So doing the Contest of Mayors, even if you don't win first place, as long as you progress through and get to the top league or the second to top league, you will get some really good point buildings. Now, usually they're small, so they don't take up a lot of space, and they really give good point boost for population, and they have the epic point high value benefit. So doing the Contest of Mayors in that regard is really good. And that's how I acquired most of my really good buildings. And then, of course, you do have 1 or maybe 2 buildings in each specialization that just comes with a decent epic point value. So I hope that answered all your questions. I'm sure this is much longer than most people really like, but that's the way, unfortunately, things work out when I make a video. I hope whatever you're doing in the game, you are having fun and everything is going swimmingly. Have a nice day, and I will be making another video sometime soon.